Put
Hey,
your eyes back in your head.
I felt like flavor,
Yeah,
flavor.
me too.
Pry their eyes open and force them to see the truth. We will skin the sheep and sacrifice the weak. The unholy alliance has arrived.
What's going on, people? What's going on, people, on this victorious, 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 victorious Monday? Yep, you heard me right. Victorious. So, got a lot to talk about. Got a lot to talk about. What's going on, Tim? How you doing, brother? We got a lot um, about in regards to the Atlanta Falcons and their big win. If you, all right, so let me start over. I'm getting a bunch of messages. I apologize, but um, I got a lot to talk about. So let me kind of go through my notes. This is exactly why we got notes right here. Right, so um, this is an um, interesting thing to say because I should I just start? I'm gonna start it off because I got a bunch of questions and a bunch of comments. That's a bunch of comments that I want to speak on, and it's two things that I want to speak on actually. But I think this is the perfect way. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna save that for 6 o'clock. All right, so I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that particular comment because I think that's the biggest one. So we'll save that for tonight. But I want to get to Michael Smith. All right, he said the only reason it was a good win because I hate the Saints. But can someone please explain to me why we didn't run the ball? It's not like we're down the whole game. I could see the dejected look on Bijan Robinson's face on the sideline. And I don't think that was really it. I think again, man, I think Bijan Robinson, obviously he's dealing with the shoulder issue. I don't think people realize he is dealing with the shoulder issue. If you look under his pad, he did kind of have those I forget what they call those things, but the strips on his shoulder. Also, and I mentioned this a couple times during the live show yesterday, but I don't think a lot of people caught it. But I think he kind of went down with a he kind of grabbed the back of his hamstring the after the catch, after the check down catch to Kirk Cousins. So I don't know which one, but I do know that he's dealing with some sort of injury because we didn't see a lot of him out there. I think the Falcons are just trying to be careful. When you have a back like Tyler Algier, man, it's like, and I personally believe in this particular game that this was a game that was meant for him, because of the just how the Saints and their defense, like their team, they like to use a lot of finesse. Yeah, they have. Can they get physical? I believe they can get physical. But you look at them, they rely on you being more finesse than anything. They love when teams comes out and being finesse, but when you punch them in the face, they don't necessarily um respond well to being punched in the face. You know, the old saying like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. And I think one of those things is with how you doing, Hattie? And one of those things come down to the Falcons. They have two backs. And Tyler Algier is just that dude when you're looking for that physicality, you're looking for somebody to get punched in the face. He's that guy. And oh my God, it is true. Good God Almighty. Wow. Deke. Oh wow. So the Dikembe Mutombo has passed away. Good freaking God. I'm sorry, y'all. It just threw me all the way off. Damn, Deke. Wow. Shit. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah. I knew Deke had cancer, but good God Almighty. Just give me a second to kind of get back on track. Um, but the Dikembe Mutombo has passed away. He had been dealing with a brain cancer, and he kind of knew it, but yeah, the Dikembe Mutombo, um, the former um 76er Hawk, um, legendary, um center. When I tell you one of the most, he's one of the most, when you talk about his contribution to just the NBA. Obviously, he drafted by the Denver Nuggets, was traded to the Atlanta Hawks, played for the 76ers, um, and obviously he's an eight-time NBA All Star. And you talk about a four-time Defensive Player of the Year, like this dude is, is a blocking machine. So just shout out to Dikembe Mutombo who just passed away. So that is indeed true. So let me get back on track. Start from the beginning. So forgive me, guys, but I had to get that out the way. Dikembe Mutombo, also, if you're Atlanta Hawks 76ers fan, man, like this dude has been instrumental in helping both teams um, kind of build championship uh quality teams, and like I said, he's one of the greatest centers of all time. Definitely one of the greatest defensive centers and one of the greatest defensive players to ever, and one of the most kind-hearted people ever. So yeah, yeah, I yeah, that's actually where I got it from Dikembe. No, no, no. So yeah, like I said, if you Atlanta Hawks fan, man, Dikembe was definitely one of those guys. So like I said, man, RIP to the great Dikembe Mutombo. And like I said, he's one of those people, man. It's like he used his money and he used his influence to not only help, children in need, but he was very instrumental. Like he was instrumental in helping a lot of kids that we see even today that come from Africa, and um and helping them have the necessary tools so they can make it to the NBA. So if it wasn't for Dikembe Mutombo, man, a lot of these kids that we see being drafted coming from Africa um, and overseas, it like you wouldn't see a lot of these guys if it wasn't for Dikembe, because like I said, he's been instrumental in helping kids from Africa in particular get the necessary tools that they need to come to the NBA. So shout out to Dikembe Mutombo. Um, but to get back to this, man. And again, the thing with the Falcons and running the ball, man, I don't think the Falcons have an issue with running the ball. I know that's something that'll probably um looking at this game, you you look at Bijan Robinson, you look at Tyler Algier. I don't think any of those guys have an issue. I think the Falcons are good. I think, something that we have to continuously remember. It's like the Falcons team isn't a finished product. Okay. This team is not a finished product. And I really want people to understand that. And I know a lot of the things that I'm saying at this particular moment is not what you want to hear, but I'm going to continuously be annoying by saying these things. The Falcons are not a finished product, and I want people to understand these are still young players. All for the most part, you got a lot of guys on this team that are under 26, and a lot of these guys are what? A lot of them offensive stars. A lot of them are defensive guys. AJ's still a young kid, man. AJ's still a young guy. A lot of these guys ain't barely hit 28 yet. And we want these guys to have superstar expectations. And the fact of the matter is the Falcons are good, man. The Falcons are absolutely good in regards to this situation. So it's like for me, when you look at whether or not the Falcons should have, we got to give credit to this Saints team. And I know it's probably go against, but like we got to give credit to the Saints, you know, all the way around. Um, Bijan Robinson, still think he's dealing with some sort of injury. Like I said, don't know if it's a hamstring, but I do know for sure that it is. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. And right now, this is why you need two running backs. Okay, this is the NFL. Things happen like this all the time. So when you got a running back like Tyler Algier, man, and you have a quarterback that understands and he needs to continuously get more and more snaps, um, you just got to give credit to him. Like we gotta give credit to the Saints, man. They always play us tough. They always play. It's always a good game every time we play them. Shout out to the morons too that was fighting at the damn games. Like I don't know why people decide to go to a public place where it's thousands and cameras all over the place, security all over the place, and you just gonna start a fight. I just never understood that. Where cameras, like most people who want to do certain things, they don't go to games to fight. Like you're going to get arrested and you're going to get kicked out. And these people go and they literally want to start a fight. So shout out to the morons that was fighting. It was just fights all over the place with the Falcons and the Saints. And like I said, it was all over the damn place. You saw. I'm sure you guys saw the videos that's going around. But like I said, it's when you got a guy like Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, man, it's like just got to give him. I would much rather, and this is my take. I would much rather let these guys take it easy. If we can win games by passing the ball, and then as the season goes on, then we can focus on wearing teams down I think I would much rather like that because what I want my running backs healthy as possible when it goes down, when it gets closer to the end of the season where we need to, focus on balance. Because I personally believe around that time, Kirk Cousins is going to be pretty. I think he's going to be pretty good. I think he'll probably be in his bag as far as him being more comfortable in this particular system. So it's like when he's comfortable passing ball a little bit more, we got Bijan Robinson, we got Tyler Algier. I think the Falcons will be pretty good, man. More of a dangerous offense, a dangerous team if you can not only run the ball, but you can pass the ball on top of it. So, like I said, I personally believe that the Falcons are doing the right thing and focus on passing the ball right now, getting Kirk Cousins in a rhythm. I think that's top priority in my book because we already know with our offensive line, man. These dudes some dogs. And shout out to Storm Norton. Shout out to Ryan Newsel. Those guys did a phenomenal job against the Saints. And one of the things I looked at the Saints this year, I just what I see in this team is a bunch of fat slobs. I'm just gonna be real. I don't think that defensive line is as good. I think there's a bunch of fat slobs. They sit around and they blitz for the most part. I wasn't impressed about anything I saw from their defensive lineman. Okay, I'm just gonna be real. They kept talking about Chase Young. Chase Young, he's a fat slob. They're a bunch of fat old slobs. I was really disappointed and what I saw, and maybe this has to do with our offensive line, but I expected their defensive line to show up better than what they should. It was absolute horse crap. It was a bunch of fat slobs. Okay. And like I said, maybe the Falcons are just that damn good, but I was extremely disappointed in what the effort that I saw from that Saints front. They had been talking about Grandison, Chase Young, and all those guys up front, and it was just an absolute atrocity. They really didn't get pressure on the quarterback the way that I thought they would. It was pretty bad. They really had to send a lot of blitzes in order for them to generate pressure. It was bad. And Saints fans, look, I'm not gonna say you'll feel your pain because I really give a damn about y'all pain. But what I saw from that defensive line was pretty fucking bad. For a guy to be a defensive guru and you under like I'll say this on top of it, when you have cap trouble like that, you can't bring in a lot of talent. So you got to go to fat slobs like Chase Young. This dude is good 20, 30 pounds overweight. He's already about 260, 270 to begin with, and now you two damn near 290 playing defensive end. Like, bro, it's that defensive line for them, a bunch of fat old slobs. And they got handled by guys like Storm Norton, who's a backup tackle, and Ryan Noodle. It was absolutely disgusting to see that. And like I said, I was disappointed because look, I like to see good games. I'm not saying that I like to see our quarterback get hit, but I like to see good games. I like to see teams put up a effort, and I was disappointed in what I saw from that defensive line for them. But again, this goes back to show you that Dwayne Leffert, and it's something that um Jew was talking about in regards to our offensive line coach, Dwayne Leffert. He needs more respect. He needs more um acknowledgement as far as how he develops. And this is one of the reasons why the Falcons even brought him back, is that Leffert is just that damn good. So shout out to Ryan Newsel. Not that I think last week he was kind of thrown into the fire and didn't really have time to get reps at that particular moment because, I mean, if you know on special teams, he's not the special team guy. Obviously, it's what the hell his name? I just had it in my head. But the center is not the backup center is typically not and his name is right in the back of my head. But the long snapper, backup center really doesn't get a lot of playing time during the course of a game unless an injury happens in that way. So he was kind of thrown into the fire. And then you have Storm Norton. He has time. Both those guys are both those guys are starters. And like I said, at the end of the day, man, at the end of the day, I love the fight that this team had. And one particular thing that I'm gonna talk about as well. Get a couple of comments. Let me see if it's this one. Yes. So we're gonna get into the quarterback talk. And I was actually encouraged by what I saw. I know a lot of people are still looking for but and again you look at the numbers, Tyler Algier, 8 carries for 60 yards, Bijan 7 for 28. And like I said, Falcons did not run the ball a lot, but like I'm still not impressed with how the defense is performing. We're giving up way too many, and that's something that I was talking to the crew about in the back is we're giving up way too many yards on first and second down, in my opinion. We were forever in second and five, third and five, third and seven. Like we have to do a better job defensively at getting them in long yardage and second down. I think that's my biggest gripe is that we can't continue to give up 5 to 6 yards on first down. I think that's where we're going wrong. I saw that a lot with the Falcons on first down, with the Saints on first down, whether it was Carr throwing those short passes. But the thing about Raheem Morris defense, and this is something that Jonathan Vilma, he kept alluding to it. He's going to give those checkdowns, and I don't have a problem with it because I think the thing with Raheem Moore, he has the perfect balance with his offense and defense. It's the perfect mesh. And reason why I say that's the perfect mesh, even though we haven't had a lot of success getting into the end zone just yet, as far as the passing game is concerned, it's a lot better than a lot of teams are still struggling as far as passing the ball. But I do think, you know, not giving up the big play is something that I think in time is going to really show its head as far as the Atlanta Falcons team is concerned because the offense is going to get look, Kirk Cousins in this passing game is coming along. And again, 238 yards. We're really beginning to see Mooney. Oh my God, Mooney is just really becoming Mooney is really is really doing his thing. I really like the fact that Mooney and Drake London, those guys are really starting. Ray McLeod is another guy. As we look at the next, it's that here you have Drake London, and I think these are the things that I alluded to the fact. Now, a lot of people are probably saying to themselves, "Why is Drake London on? Kyle Pitts is only getting 3 targets." And this is where we gotta respect the fact that teams are just not going to allow him and Bijan to get off. And this is why a lot of people are wondering why we're not getting the ball to Tyler Algier. Well, getting the ball to Tyler Algier, Ray McLeod, Mooney, I think it's the best way to go at this particular point because what the Falcons have to do is force them to respect Tyler Algier, force them to respect Ray McLeod, force them to respect Darnell Mooney. And it reminds me, again, I keep saying it, it reminds me of the San Francisco 49ers offense because you look at the 49ers, yeah, we know that they have Christian McCaffrey and they're struggling also. That's a whole nother conversation in itself. But um when you have a guy like Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, um, those guys are the ones that's going to really open the game up for Kyle Pitts because teams are just not allowing. They're pack. One thing that I'm seeing with Kyle Pitts is they bracket this guy. And a lot of times the Falcons have to put him out at wide receiver for him to even, get the necessary targets that he feels because anytime he's in the middle of the field as a tight end, they're gonna double and bracket him. And that's what we're seeing. So a lot of times Kirk Cousins being a veteran quarterback, he's not going to force the issue. And I think that's something that we got to continuously focus on. But look at this. This is why you should not worry about Kyle Pitts. It's because Donnell Mooney getting 6 targets, Ray McLeod getting 7 targets. And then you have to factor in Drake London with 12 himself. So the Falcons are being that Kyle Pitts isn't seeing a lot of targets, but the thing is teams are just not allowing him, and they're not allowing the Falcons to kind of get the ball to him. And this is why a guy like Tyler Algier on that check down from Kirk Cousins end up getting a good 10 yards because that's the least thing that, like, he's the least of their worries at this particular point. And this is why you got to continuously get the ball to Ray and Mooney because look, they're going to bracket Kyle Pitts. They're going to bracket Bijan Robinson. They're not going to allow those guys to get going. And a veteran quarterback, and I believe this is something that K Styles even talked about, is that when you got a veteran quarterback, like Kirk Cousins, he knows what you're doing. And one of the things too, it was a moment in the game where he tried to kind of get the ball to Kyle Pitts, and they end up they actually had Marshawn Lattimore on Kyle Pitts. I think they had him on quite a few times during that game. And this is the thing that they are doing with Kyle Pitts is they're putting cornerbacks on him now. And Kyle Pitts being the guy that needs to improve on his route running, which you talked about, he has to improve with his route running. All right. He has to improve with his route running. He's getting better. But this is why I continue to reiterate, he's not a wide receiver, people. Yes, he has the wide receiver speed. Yeah, he has wide receiver ball skills, but he does not run routes. He doesn't have the necessary foot speed and the agility to get out of those breaks like a wide receiver. And I think that's the thing we have to continuously understand. He's not Calvin Johnson. He's big, he's physical, he can make those plays like him. But Calvin Johnson is one of those guys, man. It's like he's a freak of nature because even Calvin Johnson wasn't the greatest route runner, but he was great at being able to use his size. And I think that's the thing with Kyle Pitts. He's still learning, but the adjustments that a lot of teams are making now is that they're putting cornerbacks on. So, like I said, man, Kyle Pitts, it's gonna be fine, but we gotta just understand that and until Kirk Cousins get into a groove, until Mooney and those guys really figure out, we're gonna start seeing a lot of those things. He should be able to beat linebackers. Well, they're not putting linebackers on him. They're putting DBs on him. When you see him line up against a linebacker, Kirk Cousins is going to go to him all day. But he almost actually threw a pick to Marshawn Lattimore because he was targeting him. Because let me say this. because I want people to truly understand why Kyle Pitts is not getting a lot of because they're bracketing him. You may see one guy on him, but the thing they're doing with him, they have a cornerback or a safety, and a lot of times they have a linebacker being physical with him right off the jump, and then they have a safety or a cornerback kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say spying him, but that cornerback is, and a lot of times the cornerback and the safety they kind of go back and forth with it, but they have the linebacker be physical with them, and then you have another guy kind of pass Kyle Pitts on. So it's either a DB, a linebacker, and a safety, and those guys take times kind of being figured. But like I said, what K Style said, his presence is being felt. You know what I'm saying? It's like because they're bracketing him, and this is why guys like, in my opinion, this is why I thought the Falcons drafting another tight end would be a little bit more beneficial because I'm not seeing Ross Dwelly. I'm really not seeing Charlie Warner being much of a threat in the passing game. But as time goes on, the offense continues to evolve. I like what I'm seeing from Mooney. I like what I'm seeing Ray Ray. But I think the Falcons I think they could really use another tight end in this offense. Because the plays that I'm seeing from Zach Robinson, it calls for another Kyle Pitts type of line, a tight end in this offense. Maybe it's not a tight end, but I think this is one of the reasons why the Falcons have drafted Casey Washington, because at some point in time, Casey Washington is going to be a Ray McLeod. He's going to be Mooney. Those guys, those shifty wide receivers that just knows how to find a spot and get open. I think this is the thing that you're starting to see. So maybe not a tight end, but I like what I'm seeing from our wide receiver, and they're understanding that teams are really focusing on not allowing Kyle Pitts to beat them. And I think that's what we got to understand. This is one of the reasons why we got to understand that Kirk Cousins is not going to force the ball to Kyle Pitts. We got enough playmakers to not force to make plays, to be honest. We don't need the force. We got Ray Ray. He's doing a wonderful, phenomenal job. We have a guy like Mooney. And Mooney, like I said, man, like this dude can literally make noise as far as somebody being a number one receiver. Like I truly believe what I'm seeing from him. He looking good, bro. Mooney looking like he's gonna cause some problems. Him and Drake London are causing problems for a lot of DBs. I don't know if we should have kept Johnny was gonna come back, but I think I don't know of a tight end, but a wide receiver who's very good, the Anquan Bolden type of wide receiver. I think that's what's perfect for this Atlanta Falcons offense. Not like I said, not necessarily a tight end, but a wide receiver who knows how to get open. A Julian Edelman type of wide receiver, and possibly a tight end. I won't throw that out, but I think that's in this particular offense. I think that's what Zach Robinson. This is what fits Zach Robinson's offense. Because the Falcons use a lot of their tight ends to block, but in certain situations, you need those Casey Washingtons and Quan Bolden types of guys, Julian Edelman types of guys in this offense. Because a guy like Kirk Cousins, he's not going to press the issue. And I think those one of the things too that I'm seeing. Also did scheme plays. I mean, Kyle is the thing is the Falcons have plays schemed for him. Okay, James, the Falcons have plays schemed, but when you're doubled and triple them, a quarterback as experienced as Kyle Kirk Cousins, he's not going to press the issue. He's not going to throw the ball because you have a call play. You have a call play for Kyle Pitts. He's not going to force the issue, and I don't see any reason to force the issue when you have a Ray McCloud. And I think that's the thing. So many people want him to live up to this, this moniker that he could be, the next Tony Gonzalez. I don't want him to be the Tony Gonzalez. I think at some point in time he'll get to his potential. But we got to understand that we got other playmakers. And K Styles actually made a great point. Was it really the fact that Kyle Pitts was that good as his rookie year? Or because you got to take in consideration, like he was literally one of the only targets for Matt Ryan in that rookie year. And you got a guy like Matt Ryan, he knows that he's your only target. He knows how to manipulate the defense and make sure that Kyle Pitts get the ball. So I think this is one of those things. Drew always says, got too many Ferraris in the garage. Got way too many weapons. Somebody ain't gonna eat. Okay? We got way too many, okay? Way too many. Way too many weapons. You got Drake London, first round pick. Bijan Robinson, first round pick. We got another running back in Tyler Algier who had 1,000 yards. We got another wide receiver in Mooney who had 1,000-yard season. That's a lot of playmakers, dog. Most offenses don't have 1 to 2 guys. The level of what the Falcons have. The level of a Drake London. They don't have a lot of these guys. And the Falcons have 4 guys who literally put up 1,000 yards. So when you look at this Falcon team, I don't think, people realize like how many weapons and how much it as an offensive play caller, how much of a pain it is to try to get everybody involved. It's impossible. Do you think the run there will? Yeah, I believe so. I think this offense will be a little bit more explosive. I think it kind of spoiled the plan as far as the Falcons being able to use Rondale Moore, Ray McCloud, and like I said, it's a blessing in disguise because you're seeing a lot more Ray. But I think the Falcons would have had a little bit more. I guess 4 wide receiver sets if Rondale Moore wouldn't have got, because he, like I said, he excels in those types of things. His speed and explosiveness would have pushed a lot of those DBs back because you got to respect his speed. So when you look at that, man, like I said, it's fine. But like I said, at the end of the day, man, you got to realize that the Falcons have a lot of guys. Tight end Andrews had 0 receptions and 0 yards. But again, man, I think look, they trying to get rid of Andrews. They like Isaiah Likely. And I tell y'all all the time, whether you like it or not, teams will tell you who and what they're doing. And Andrews is one of those guys, yeah, they paid, but they're not even targeting this dude anymore. That's not even targeting him anymore. So when you got that teams are gonna in Southside, even if it's two guys, there was only two guys on that team that you can like teams can scheme up ways to take away your wide receiver. And a quarterback like Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins, they're not gonna press the issue. So guess what? He's gonna throw the ball to Kyle Pitts. Because they know they're not like he knows for sure that these guys are not gonna allow a Calvin Ridley to get a big play. So Matt Ryan gonna take you exact what you keep giving them tight end and Kyle Pitts. Well, he gonna take it, and that's the same thing with Kurt. You keep giving him Ray McLeod and Ray McLeod and Mooney keep making plays. He gonna keep throwing it until you open up or stop doubling Kyle Pitts. He gonna keep passing the ball to Mooney. But this is the reason why you have these big players. I think Kyle Pitts is developing his blocking, his receiving game better. And John, like I said, the receiving part, that is good. It's going to open up the offense in its entirety because teams are going to have to respect the fact that he will stay in and block. They're going to respect the fact that Ray McLeod and Mooney, those guys can make plays. They have to respect that. It's a lot of goofy stuff on. Like if you TikTok ain't the place to go for information. I'll just say that. TikTok ain't the place. Yeah, I mean, like as far as Justin Fields is concerned, I'll get into that. I'll probably make another video on Justin Fields, but he's still turning the ball over. One thing about Arthur Smith's offense is like he's not gonna he's with his scheme, he's not gonna allow the quarterback to give the game away. Because they're gonna run the ball, they're gonna be a bunch of safe throws, and that's what Justin Fields needs. He's not a quarterback that you kind of give him the reins and say, all right, you go win the game and you call the play that you want to call. That's not what Justin Fields is good at. If you give him a specific set of plays to run, Justin Fields is going to excel at that. And not so much throwing the ball down the field, but like really checking the ball, using his arm. That's where he excels at. But when you give him a whole playbook and say, all right, let's open this thing up, you can really focus on like showcasing your ability to run an offense. He's not going to run an offense. Justin Fields, he excels at when he's told what to do. Mooney is a perfect. He's like I said. He's the number one. I think he's more of a number one than Sanu is, but he's that perfect number two to help get your number one guy a little bit more respect and a little bit more one-on-ones. Because you have to respect the fact that Mooney can make big plays. And I think if you understand what Kirk doing, and a lot of people are probably saying to themselves, like, why he keep throwing the ball deep? Why does he keep throwing the ball deep? Because he's trying to this is something that Jew even talked about. He wanted to see the Falcons take more shots downfield. Well, Kirk knows that. He knows these guys are sitting on route, so that's why he's throwing the ball. A lot of people probably saying to themselves, why keep taking these deep shots with Ray and Mooney? It's because they're sitting on Kyle Pitts. He's trying to get the ball. He's trying to get the defense to respect the fact that Mooney and Ray can make these big plays, so he can get the ball to Kyle Pitts. And this is why we got to be patient with it. He knows this. So as the season goes on, when these guys continue to make big plays, what's going to happen is Kyle Pitts is going to mark my words. Okay, y'all say this. I'm saying this right now. Mark my words when I say this. As the season goes on, you're going to start seeing Kyle Pitts catch a lot more passes because they're going to start respecting Mooney and they're going to have to respect Ray McCloud. Mark my words when I say that. You're going to see Kyle Pitts. But the thing is, until they respect Mooney, until they respect Ray McCloud, they're going to continuously double Kyle Pitts. They're not allowed. So that's why he's not. And another thing, too, Drake London got to step his game up. I haven't been, when you got 12 targets, it's still some miscommunication. I think he's a little bit more comfortable. It's a lot of miscommunication because a lot of these, and you talked about it, a lot of these calls, the passes that they're calling, it's based on timing. So it's not necessarily these guys aren't playing well. It's just the timing of it. And this offense is based on timing. So timing is basically chemistry. So you need more than 4 games in order to develop a chemistry with your wide receiver. So that's why you see a lot of a lot of the interception to Ray. That's why this is happening because it's not a lot of time that they have. So as time goes on, you're gonna start seeing Kyle Pitts make plays. Okay, you're gonna see him get the ball a lot more. But we gotta, like I said, we gotta be patient with it. And as far as Kyle Pitts, man, am I really kind of I don't so you're looking at this so 50 I'm looking at some numbers right now, so forgive me, y'all. So it's really tight ends aren't really getting the ball like that. So appreciate this, J Rock. When you look at the tight ends and how guys are being targeted, it really isn't as much as you may think. So Dallas Goedert right now is number 1 this year with 28 targets. Okay, number 1 in targets for tight ends. Okay, if you think you got to trade Kyle Pitts, Oscar, tell me why we got to trade Pitts. Okay, because now you about to make me lose my shit. All right, so somebody tell me why. Okay, everybody keeps saying you got to trade Pitts. Okay, tell me why you got to trade. Because I don't see what we don't do over here. Up these empty ass. I don't give a fuck what other channel you go to with all these empty ass statements. We don't do empty statements. You got to be able to back up and have a legitimate reason as to why he should. And I don't want to hear no bullshit about, oh, you drafted number 4. All right, I don't want to hear that dumb shit. Tell me why he needs to be traded. Because a lot of people like to say a lot of dumb crap with it's absolutely no base to it. Tell me why we got to get rid of him. Because I'm getting to these numbers, and again, a lot of tight ends aren't getting the ball. It's because defenses are taking it away. Again, Dallas Goedert with 28 targets in 4 games. The next one, Brock Bowers, 24 targets. And then you look at Kyle Pitts, 15 targets. So 28 and 15. You got 13 more targets than Kyle Pitts. Okay, 13 more targets than him. So I don't know what you guys think. Maybe you believe that every other tight end in the league is getting 10 targets a game, but that's not the case. A lot of these guys from all the way from the number one guy all the way to the 10th guy, these guys have all right, we got another guy, Cole Komet, got 20 targets. He only has 5 more targets than Kyle Pitts. But the thing about Cole Komet, even there, they got playmakers even there. So a lot of these tight ends aren't getting as many passes as you guys think. And this is why I always say, stop looking at our team and look at what's going around the league, because you have false sense of reality because you only focus on our team. Look at guys like Mike Andrews, who's not even getting a fucking target. Mike Andrews, Andrews is not even getting a fucking target, and we complaining about Kyle Pitts getting 3. This is the reality of it. Okay, other tight ends in the league aren't even getting targets. So, what's Travis Kelce got 6 more targets than Kyle Pitts. Okay? Travis Kelce got 6 more targets. Nobody would have thought that. The great Hall of Fame Travis Kelce only has 21 targets. He has 6 more targets than Kyle Pitts, and we up here talking about trading Kyle Pitts. Make that make sense. See, this is why you can't just look at this team and say, man, why we ain't getting this guy the ball? What about the Chiefs? You don't think the Chiefs up here sitting up? The Chiefs are what? I think they 4-0 now. You think they worried about getting Travis Kelce when you 4-0? We up here crying about Kyle Pitts not getting the ball. We need to trade him. On the Falcons, literally sitting a game behind the Bucks. Okay. Tight ends don't get tight ends. I need for y'all to understand this. Tight ends are tight ends. Even the tight ends that are good, these guys are not getting the targets that you guys think. Look at everybody else. Stop looking at the Falcons. Stop looking at Kyle Pitts and say, man, he only got this. And it's, again, they are drawing this up, Dre. I love you to death, bro, but this ain't even right. They're doing that. Tight ends don't get the ball that much. Kelce finally had his first game. Look, over 50 yards. Like, bro, look at every other tight end in the league. He's fine, people. Man, shut the fuck up, okay? I don't want to hear no about no full potential. Full potential is not going to happen when y'all want them to have it. This is a fucking problem. Y'all want him to reach his full potential, but when y'all want him to reach his full potential. And it don't happen that way. Just because you want him to have 100 yards, okay? Every game or every other game, or you want him to be in the Pro Bowl, don't mean it's going to happen when y'all want it. And that's the problem. You want to control how the Atlanta Falcons perform instead of letting fate, time, patience, development work. Okay? Got to stop this dumbass shit. This is literally one of the dumbest things. This is why we get caught. This is why people get called stupid. What you mean reach his full potential? You don't think you really think these guys decided to draft the guy at full pick and say nope, we're not going to get you the ball? Like what? Like what the hell are you guys talking about? Why would I spend a first round pick and say if he's not going, I'm not going to develop him? Nope, I'm not going to turn him into. They're trying to turn him into a complete player. Y'all trying to turn him into Julio Jones. Y'all trying to see numbers so y'all can get y'all goddamn fantasy points and money off these bits. Okay? And again, he's a tight end. So if you look at every other tight end in the league, you will understand why everything is fine. Do you think it would be better for Zach Robinson to call plays from the sideline? No, absolutely not. I think the thing is, and I was actually asking Don this question about I was actually asking Don about this question because I saw something. Well, it's two guys right now. See, people are under the illusion that Zach Robinson is calling plays by himself. Here's a guy in I don't know how to Birinovich. I don't know how to say it, but Team Birinovich. He was a guy that came with him from the Rams, and he's in the booth with him as well as Ken Zampese. Kim Zampese is one of those guys that's helped develop some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's in the booth with him. So he's not calling plays by himself. So he's getting the proper tutelage in it. So it's not Zampese is helping. Okay, people. Zampese is helping. But like I said, I don't think communication is his issue. I think patience is the issue. You got a quarterback. And again, everybody wants the Falcons to put up 30 points a game and 25 points a game. And that's going to take time. This team hasn't been together a whole year, people. Okay? This team has not been together an entire year. This is a completely different coaching staff. This is a completely different team. We have a handful of players that have been together for a while, but this is not the same team. These fantasy football managers swear they know everything. Like I said, this is why you got to look at every other team and stop looking at the Falcons. Because you look at the Falcons, man, why they ain't getting Kyle Pitts the ball? Well, why every other tight end in the league ain't getting the ball? Because the numbers are down. Even the quarterback's numbers are down. I told you so, but look, that's besides the point. Oscar, you didn't answer the question. I asked you a simple question. Why should Kyle Pitts get benched? When you look at his numbers compared to everybody else, every other tight end, they're not getting as many targets. Again, Travis Kelce has 6 more targets than Kyle Pitts. Bro, we need to relax. Okay? Travis Kelce has 6 more targets than Kyle Pitts. I think everything will be fine. No, I don't necessarily think this because Kyle Pitts is again. I don't know. You're focusing on one guy. But a tight end's mere presence on the field can open up so much for guys like Ray Ray McLeod and Mooney. See, you guys are thinking with a one-track mind. When you start looking at football as a whole instead of everything, this is why Tyler Algier, look again, this is why Tyler Algier, when he gets in, they don't respect his athleticism. When Bijan gets in it, they try to overcompensate for that athleticism. They don't respect Tyler Allgeier's athleticism. So a lot of gaps that you see with Tyler Algier is not going to be the same with Bijan Robinson. Because they're going to bring 2-3 more guys. They're going to bring a couple more guys in the box to make sure Bijan doesn't hit that home run. But when Tyler Algier is in that mug, they don't respect the home run. They don't respect the fact that they have to close those gaps quickly with him. This is why a lot of them get beat down because they don't respect the home run. And this is why having a Bijan Robinson and a Tyler Algier together is going to be good. It's going to be great for both of these guys. No, I say it all the time. The facts, the stats, and the truth. See, the thing about stats, and this is something that Dean Pease even said, you be so focused on numbers, and analytics, you forget about the whole. Like I'm more so. If anybody know anything about what I am about, I'm about scheme more than I am stats. I know how to put certain players. I study on how to put certain players in certain situations and tell you why these certain things are happening. That's my gift. But if you're just so focused on getting a guy a number just for the sake of giving him a number, then you're going to lose. And this right here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So when you look at a guy like Marshawn Lattimore, why are they putting Marshawn Lattimore on Kyle Pitts if he's overrated? You don't put a corner on a tight end if the tight end is overrated. You don't put a corner on a tight end if the Falcons viewed him as a guy that was going to be a bust and we had to trade him. So you're looking at the game the wrong way. When you look at the game at a one-track mind, this is what happens. It's going to be it's going to be St. Louis Dirty Bird. Yep, 216. It spoiled them. But the thing about Kyle Shanahan, even in that offense, he understood this. That's why the Falcons was so adamant on when he was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons. He was so adamant at bringing in not only a center and Alex Mack, but he was so focused on establishing that run game first, and then everything else will come off. Everything else will, handle itself. But yeah, that Dre, they had a line. They don't typically use a lot of linebackers on Kyle Pitts because they know they're gonna get destroyed. If you look at that big play that he had last week on the sideline, I believe it was a corner. He just out physical the corner for that 50-yard play. They didn't have a linebacker on him. Okay, so a lot of times Kyle Pitts, he has to be a little bit more physical if he wants to be if he wants to be a mega star in this game. He got to be more physical with the DBs, but that comes with experience and learn how to use those tricks. He looks lazy out there. I don't. No, it's because he's not a wide receiver. He's a tight end, y'all. He doesn't have the hips that a wide receiver has. Yeah, he's fast, but he doesn't have the ability to run those routes. He can get better at running routes, but a lot of you guys are still seeing him as a wide receiver, and he's not that. He's not that. No, we needed Bijan Robinson. I don't know about that. No, we definitely need a Bijan Robinson. The thing is, I think my heart was more so and I can say this now, I was more so a Georgia fan at that time, but looking back, it was the right decision. I don't think Jordan Davis would be or Carter would be good for this Atlanta Falcon team because Carter's just a mess. I mean, they got blew out by the damn Buccaneers. Okay, they gave up 31 points to the Buccaneers. Okay, so yeah, we made the right decision. You think Tyler is better than Bijan? I don't know about that. There are some things that Tyler Algier still has to work on. Um, Still got to work on a few things. Like he's not as good, and I think we all know that on two levels. He's not a good pass blocker as Bijan Robinson, and he's not as good of a receiver as Bijan Robinson. But at this point in time, he may be a better runner than Bijan. There's just certain aspects of their game that is so different that everybody prefers. But like once Bijan finally gets it, like I said, he's not a polished runner yet. Bijan is not a polished runner. Tyler Algier is a polished runner. And he's more physical. So people connect with that physicality of running the ball more so than I wouldn't even say even that. I think people just right now look, when he gets in, I think people connect with more so with Tyler Allgeier's style than Bijan. But at the end of the day, I don't really give a damn how you get 5 yards as long as you get 5 yards. I don't give a damn how you get in the end zone, just get in the end zone. The end. But I think Falcons fans, we so used to seeing Jamal Anderson and Michael Turner. Like that's what we connect with bigger backs, physical backs. And let's keep it real. There's no disrespect to Warrick Dunn, but how many times do you guys even praise Warrick Dunn? Oh, did Mike just say that? Oh, how many times do Warrick Dunn get praised for the fans? Y'all don't even praise him at all. He was one of the look. He was the glue of that Falcons offense with Mike Vick, Dunn, and Duckett. But like everybody remember Vick, everybody remember Duckett, but nobody even give Warrick Dunn no fucking credit. And yeah, I said it. Let's keep it real. Who the fuck says Warrick Dunn? Nobody. Y'all don't praise that man. Y'all still praising Turner. You're still praising Jamal Anderson because they physical. This is what Falcons fans connect with more than complete backs. We don't connect with complete backs. We connect with physical backs. Warrick Dunn is one of the most disrespected running backs in this Falcons. Like, let's keep it real. He is the most disrespected running back this organization has ever had. Nobody talks about him. Devontae Freeman get more love than him. Like Robert still learning on job. I remember his first year. And like I said, it's a lot of these guys first year. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that Wednesday. So check that out Wednesday. So we got to give these guys. We got to give them time. And like I said, these guys. Most of these Falcons players are literally damn near all of them under 26 years old, bro. 27 for sure. A lot of these offensive players for the Falcons are under 27. So these guys still got 2 to 3 years in their 20s before they finally get it. And when they get it, boy, it's gonna be good. But that tank, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like Bijan Robinson, if you look at his total skill set, he's much better than Tyler Algier in a lot of aspects. But that doesn't mean that Tyler Algier can't be a great back. You can have two great backs good at two different things. We don't need to turn these guys against each other. If I get my way, if I had my way, I wouldn't trade Tyler Algier at all. But the way things happen in the NFL, it's just like, look, when a running back and a player understand that they can get money elsewhere, and when other teams start valuing you, you know, shit happen. People start want like a lot of teams start to, call you and see what you can get they can get for you. Jerry's Noah was another one. Like I said, it's so many running backs. Warrior Dunn, when I tell you this, it was that dude had no weaknesses in his game. But nobody talks about how he was a great blocker. Nobody talk about he was good in and outside. Okay. He could run inside and outside. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He was a complete back. That offense wouldn't have been the same if Warrior Dunn wasn't there. He allowed Vic. He allowed TJ Duckett to do what they like, bro. Like that offense was something. Do you consider this year building year or playoff year? I mean, I don't. For one, I think if we just take care of our business in the South, it could be a playoff year. But I'm not. I would love the Super Bowl, but I'm not here to just like, all right, it's a Super Bowl or bust. I just want to see us take care of business in the South. Everything else will work its way out. We take care of the South, we get in the playoffs, anything can happen. It's anybody's ball game. And that's another thing. We made that same mistake with those guys, trying to turn them guys against each other instead of just appreciating those guys together. No, I don't agree with that. Because tight end, he's a tight end. He's not gonna. He doesn't have the numbers to garner, these mega crazy contracts. And plus, in a couple of years, I believe personally that we're gonna have a quarterback cap, and it's gonna have an effect on every other position. So I will be fine. They got to get control of these quarterback numbers. So at some point, we're going to see in the next couple of years those guys, and that's another thing too. I believe Judon will be back. So, like I said, man, before I kind of get out of here, um, just patience. Gotta remember, Kyle Pitts is not a wide receiver. He's not Drake London. He does not run great routes right now. But his thing is he doesn't have to run great routes. He just has to run the routes that he's being given perfectly. You don't have to always look, you don't have to always be great at every route. Because most offensive coordinators are not going to, they're not gonna have you running every route. They're gonna tell you to run this and run that. They're gonna give you a handful of plays that you run, and all you got to do is run those plays well. That's it. At times, does Kyle Pitts look lazy? Absolutely. But I've seen Julio Jones. Everybody talk about Julio Jones like he'll make a big play and he take his ass to the sideline. But nobody complain about that because he Julio Jones. But every player gonna have those moments of lapses. So I'm not gonna get too down on Kyle. Like I said, shut up. So like I said, man, it everything will be fine. It's about patience. Got to develop players the proper way. And yeah, we do. We have a lot of we good on the contracts. Well, another thing too, because I be hearing people saying Kyle Pitts was wide open. No, he wasn't. Okay, the defense left him open because they understood what the okay. He's not open. I don't think people realize he's not open. It's the reads. The defense gave him a certain look. Okay, so when you give him a certain look, a guy is going to be open because for one, Kirk Cousins. Let me say it like this, because I don't think people get when you say people he wide open. A lot of times when you see with a naked eye, it's not exactly what you're seeing. What you're seeing when Kyle Pitts is open is what they're doing, what defenses are doing. For example, all right, it's a process. They understand in certain situations what the reads are. And Kirk Cousins, knowing when they give a certain look, that this guy's automatically open. So what the Falcons are doing and what Kirk Cousins is doing, what defenses are doing, they're showing a look pre-snap, and the pre-snap is open. Okay? Pre-snap is open. See, the pre-snap for Kyle Pitts, let's just say, all right, let me say this again. Let me say it again. When you look at that play, because it was a play where the Saints had a guy and he was behind. Kyle Pitts was lined up on the left side of the offense, and I think it was at the end of the game where they were driving, and somebody said, "Well, Kyle Pitts was out wide open." Well, pre-snap, they had Kyle Pitts covered. So what Kurt knew immediately, because they had Kyle Pitts covered immediately, he knew his first and second read was going to be to the right side of the offense, which is why when he made that decision, you look back and see Kyle Pitts open. That's because post-snap, pre-snap, he was covered. So what Kirk Cousins do? He went to the right side. He already knew that those guys were kind of shading towards Kyle Pitts, and his first read had to be into the right side. That's why he threw the ball to Drake London. So a lot of times when we think we see guys open, that's actually the post-snap. Post-snap, he's open, but pre-snap, he's covered. And this is how defenses get you to think that a guy is open. So what has to happen in a lot of those situations, this is why play action works well in that situation, is because, again, you get a defense thinking that you're going to throw the ball to the right side. And a lot of mobile quarterbacks are actually good at this too. This is why guys like Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson got to be real careful about extending those guys because they'll lock up the left side of the field. And then if you don't tackle the quarterback, the left side of the field will end up be open. So you got to be real careful about what you, like you said, it's pre-snap open and it's post-snap open. Kyle Pitts is open post-snap a lot of times, and a lot of people be thinking themselves that he's wide open, but he's really not wide open. And these are the things that quarterbacks have to understand. It's all about anticipating. So go back and look at that play. It was a pre-snap. They had him covered. Post-snap, when Kurt already knew what the look was going to be. He knew that they were shading the Kyle. So all he did was what? Go immediately to the right side. And it made it look like Kyle Pitts was open. So again, these are the things you got to understand when watching. So with that being said, man, hit that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate it, for joining us. Yeah, we got some crack babies in here, y'all. People look at numbers and say, "Yep, you ain't better than this guy." Y'all gonna learn one of these days. Stop looking at numbers. These numbers are gonna kill y'all. Looking at people's numbers is gonna kill y'all. So that being said, man. But that being said, appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. On the way to 10K. Definitely have a giveaway. You don't judge the players by numbers, okay? That's much. See, what do you mean? All right, what the fuck does this even mean? How else do you judge players? You don't judge players simply by numbers. That's how you end up paying fucking $50 million to a fucking quarterback that can't do shit in Jacksonville. Y'all look at these damn numbers and say, "Yep, he's a quarterback." This is how your ass end up with This is how you end up with a $200 million goddamn quarterback contract with a quarterback like fucking Jalen Hurts. I told you, motherfuckers. Y'all be looking at these numbers and shit and then say, "Yep, he's a good player." Stop looking at people's numbers and say, "Oh man, he got 100 catches." Is he wide open? Is he double teamed? Are they leaving him wide open? How is he getting those numbers? Because there's guys in NBA, for example, like you see guys that play with a superstar like LeBron James, and then you get them playing and they become the superstar, and then it's like they don't have the same impact. It's because they're not benefiting from the double teams anymore. A lot of these guys get numbers because of other guys on the field. And that's how you judge whether or not a guy. This is why Julio Jones was as great of a guy. Great of a player he was, because oftentimes they were double teaming and triple teaming him and sending 3-4 guys to his side. When you see a wide receiver being double team and triple team, and he still come down with passes, still catch the ball, that's when you know you got a superstar. You don't look at a guy's number and say, "Yeah, he's a superstar." Okay, this is how your ass end up with goddamn Ray Edwards, okay? Because everybody look at, "Oh, he had 13 sacks on the year." But you didn't look at the impact of everybody around him You just looked at his numbers and said, yeah, all right, he's got. Okay, it's about how he gets. Okay, it's about how you get these numbers right here. Numbers are one thing, but how they got the numbers are completely different. What's going on, Jew? DJ, what's going on? I'm a Falcon fan, born and raised in Georgia, but my parents and the rest of my family from New Orleans. So every time we play them, we go back and forth. Hey man, like I said, I love to play the Saints. I don't like a lot of Saints fans, but because a lot of them delusional. And I look, my one of my best friends is from New Orleans, and she even say they fake. So a lot of New Orleans fans think they like they ain't even real Saints fan. It's not a lot of real Saints fans like that. But hey, man, appreciate it. I truly appreciate you, brother. Like I said, man, it's always a good. I love to play the Saints because I know I'm gonna get a physical, good game. So shout out to y'all. Y'all always take us down to the wire, and it's, like I said, it's always a good game. So I appreciate you, brother. But like I said, you got to look at everything and how guys are getting the numbers and not just getting numbers. It's a lot of guys that got false numbers, and then you sitting up here. And like I said, it's more than just it's more than stats. You got to look at how it's the eye test. You got to look at how they're getting the numbers, and that's how you know when you got a superstar. It's like when a guy get double and triple team and he still get a sack. Now you know you got a now you know you got a superstar. But like a guy like, for example, Dante Fowler got a bunch of sacks with the Rams, bunch of sacks. Well, I oftentimes know it because he was single covered. They were doubling, tripling Aaron Donald. So we thought he was a damn good player, but ultimately he benefited from a superstar like that. And see, this is how you gauge whether or not a guy is good and the impact of it. You got to look at everything. It's not just numbers. Right here, when I judge players, I take everything in the context, coaching, supporting cast, all that. If a guy's getting numbers and he's the only guy on that team, I'm still going to be apprehensive on whether or not he's that good. Because I need to see him double team. I need to see him triple team. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. You haven't seen it and you're not satisfied. This is not the truth whatsoever. From the eye test or the numbers, we just haven't seen it for previous either way. No, you haven't. And see, this is where people try to force their own opinion on the truth because we've seen the eye test where he make plays. Nah, there's a bunch of what ifs. I don't like to get in what ifs. I don't really like to get in what ifs. But we're gonna talk about T1000 tonight. Yeah, and I was wrong about that. I said that in 2023 that he was lazy. But that was like, bro, like you heard me say this before. Like, why people try to act? People like to use the words that I said, but they try to ignore everything else that I said about this. When I said he's lazy, That was me assuming the fact that he was 100% healthy. Like y'all heard me say this. So I'm not the motherfucker to fuck with this. I know what the fuck I said. I said in 2023 he was lazy on the situation. He looked lazy. But there was me listening to the Atlanta Falcons or believing the Atlanta Falcons when they say he's 100% healthy. Yeah, I said there was me assuming that he was healthy, which I said exactly in those same live shows too. If he's healthy, he's lazy as hell. But knowing now and seeing him coming back, he doesn't look lazy in those routes. So, like I said before, Kurt, he's going to get it out of him. But that was me assuming that again. That was me assuming that he was healthy. Now that I know he wasn't healthy, and I see a completely different Kyle Pitts as far as his athleticism is concerned, he looks healthy. The real question: did Matt Ryan bring out the best version of it? And that's what a veteran, I believe so. That's what a veteran quarterback can do. It can bring out the best version of him. And maybe Matt Ryan had that ability that Kurt don't. So we will see. But so far, I like what I'm seeing from him. So, like I said, I don't believe that Kyle Pitts is lazy. I just don't think he was ever prepared or he wasn't prepared at Florida. Let's just keep that real. They just told him to go out there and be big. We'll throw you the ball. And then when he got to the NFL, that's the direct. Like those are the complications that come from having poor coaching in college. Because they don't teach you to run routes. They don't teach you all the small intricate details in college. A lot of schools just want you to get there just so you can be an athlete. Well, Sam said this years ago. He thought that dude was gonna be a bust, but I didn't. I actually was wrong about him. I didn't think he would be this bad. He looked pitiful. Yeah, he got time in the pocket. He when he has time in the pocket, he still makes bad. Like he just, I don't know what's going on with that dude. I just don't know. Maybe they need a new coach because he's not listening. And one thing about Peterson is with his quarterbacks, he wears out his welcome. I don't know what it is with him, but he wears out his welcomes, and I think he's wearing out his welcome. I wanna see what he do under a new offensive coordinator and the new coach before I say he's a bust. But I don't like what I'm seeing from Triple Lawrence, man. I don't. But like I said, man, I'm about to end it. I appreciate everybody for joining, and we're gonna continue to support your boy here, and stay tuned for tonight. Um, with 6 o'clock. Excuse me. Stay tuned 6 o'clock. And yeah, 6 o'clock here at Mad Mike Sports, the originators. We're gonna have that conversation amongst other stuff. We may have even talk about that game, that Alabama Georgia game. So with that being said, this has been your boy Man Mike. I'm out of here, man. Peace.
Put your eyes back in your head.
I felt like flavor.
What, Bijan?
Pry their eyes open and force them to see the truth. We will skin the sheep and sacrifice the weak. The unholy alliance has arrived.